My name is Emily. I'm 29 years old, and I work as a freelance graphic designer. I don't have a fancy job title or a huge house, but I live a simple, honest life. I've always been the quiet one in my family, the kind of person who stays in the background, helping everyone but rarely getting credit. My younger sister, Rachel, is the opposite. She's beautiful, loud, and loves attention.
She was always the golden child.
If she wanted something, she got it. If I wanted something, I had to earn it or forget it. But even with all the unfair treatment, I never hated her. In fact, I loved her more than she probably deserved. When she got engaged to her boyfriend, Mark, my parents were thrilled. You'd think the royal family was marrying off their princess. Everyone started planning the biggest, fanciest wedding. But there was one big problem. Rachel and Mark didn't have the money to pay for it. So, guess who stepped in?
Me.
I used almost all my savings, over $42,000, to pay for the wedding. The dress, the venue, the food, the flowers, even the honeymoon. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't do it for praise. I did it because I wanted her to have a day she'd never forget. I thought she'd be grateful. I thought wrong. As the wedding day got closer, I noticed she barely talked to me. When she did, it was to complain or order me around. Still, I stayed quiet. I told myself, it's just dress. She'll thank you later. But that thank you never came. Instead, what happened on the day of her wedding was something I'll never forget for the rest of my life. The wedding day finally arrived. Everyone was buzzing with excitement. The venue looked magical. White flowers hanging from the ceiling, soft music playing in the background, candles glowing everywhere. People kept walking up to Rachel, saying how beautiful everything was. She smiled and took all the compliments like she planned the whole thing herself.
She didn't mention me.
Not once. I stood near the back of the room, wearing a light blue dress she picked for me. I didn't mind. I was just happy the day was going smoothly. Then, during the reception, something strange happened. Right before they were about to cut the cake, Rachel gasped loudly. My ring. My wedding ring is gone. Everyone froze. She looked around, pretending to panic. Then her eyes locked on me. You were near my dressing room earlier, she said loudly. Did you take it? The entire room went silent. People turned to stare at me. I was shocked.
What? No.
Why would I? Before I could finish, Rachel walked right up to me and slapped me across the face. Gasps echoed across the room. My cheek burned, not just from the slap, but from the embarrassment. My hands shook. I looked at her, still trying to understand what just happened. You always hated me, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. I knew you'd try to ruin my wedding. Tears welled up in my eyes. Not because I was guilty, I wasn't, but because this was how she treated the person who gave her the wedding of her dreams. And then my own mother told me to leave. Please just go before you embarrass us more, she whispered, like I was a problem she had to hide. So I did. I turned around, held my head high, and walked out of the place I paid for, without saying a single word. But what no one knew was that the second I walked out, I stopped every pending payment. By the time I got home that night, I was still shaking, not from anger, but from disbelief. I had paid for everything, every detail. The flowers, the dress, the cake, even the honeymoon suite Rachel and Mark were supposed to enjoy that very night.
And now?
I had been slapped and thrown out like trash. So I did the only thing that felt right. I opened my laptop, logged into every account, and canceled everything that hadn't been paid in full. The wedding venue? Only the deposit had been paid. I canceled the remaining balance. The catering company? Still waiting for their final payment. I emailed them and explained the situation. The honeymoon hotel? Canceled. No refund. The photographer, the DJ, the cake, all unpaid. All gone. Then I called my bank and filed a formal complaint. I had proof of every transaction. I saved every invoice and receipt under a folder named Her Big Day. At the time, I did it because I was proud of my gift. Now it felt like a lifeline. The next morning, the phone calls began. The venue called Rachel first, then the caterers, then the DJ. One by one, Every vendor started demanding payment from her and her new husband. Rachel freaked out. She tried calling me, 5 missed calls in a row. I didn't answer. Then her new mother-in-law, Mrs. Brooks, found out. She had been told that her son's family paid for everything. When she realized they lied, she was furious. I heard from a friend that Mrs. Brooks stormed into Rachel's house and demanded answers. "You tricked my son into a fake wedding," she screamed. "How could you lie about something so serious?" Rachel tried to defend herself, but the truth was now out in the open. And the worst part? People had started talking online. Because I had posted one simple video the night before. Just me, holding up a receipt folder, saying, "You called me a thief at your wedding, Rachel. But here's the truth. I paid for it all. And I'm done being quiet." I didn't expect much from the video I posted. I wasn't looking for attention. I just needed to speak up for once in my life. But within hours, the video exploded. People started sharing it on social media. Comment after comment poured in from strangers who didn't even know me. "Wow, she paid for the whole wedding and got slapped. This is heartbreaking. You didn't deserve that. You're the real sister here. Proud of you for walking away. Expose her. That bride needs to be held accountable." By the next day, the video had over 1 million views. It spread fast in our town and surrounding cities. Even local blogs picked it up. Suddenly, I wasn't just the quiet older sister anymore. I was the woman who got slapped and silenced but came back stronger. Rachel? She was drowning in shame. Guests who had attended the wedding started messaging me. Some apologized for not defending me. Some were shocked to learn I paid for everything. Even people from Mark's side, the groom's side, began to distance themselves. His cousins and friends commented on my video with messages like, "If I knew the truth, I would have walked out with you. Rachel always seemed fake. This proves it." And then it happened. Mark moved out. I found out from a mutual acquaintance that, after watching the video and hearing from his own mother, Mark confronted Rachel. He had no idea about the lies she told, not just about the money, but about me. They fought. He packed his bags and left. A few days later, I got a message from him. Just 2 words. "I'm sorry." I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The truth had already done its job. A week passed. By then, most people knew what Rachel had done. But the fallout wasn't over. Not even close. The wedding vendors started showing up at my parents' house and Rachel's apartment, asking for payment. They had contracts. They had proof. And now they wanted their money. Rachel tried blaming me, saying I promised to pay. But every vendor had the same response. "She paid the deposits. She canceled after you kicked her out. You're responsible for the rest." The bills added up quickly, over $23,000 in unpaid services. The venue filed a small claims lawsuit. The caterers threatened to go to collections. Even the DJ went online and posted screenshots of unpaid invoices, tagging Rachel directly. She blocked everyone. Mark officially filed for annulment, only 3 weeks into the marriage. His reason? Marriage based on lies and deception. It made the local gossip column. Rachel's picture was everywhere, but not in the way she hoped. Meanwhile, I stayed silent. I didn't post any follow-ups. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't have to. The truth was already loud enough. Rachel's life became a mess of unpaid bills, angry messages, and destroyed friendships. Even our mother, who always supported her blindly, finally snapped. I heard through family that she yelled at Rachel one night, saying, "You've ruined our name. You humiliated your sister. You did this to yourself." But Rachel still refused to apologize. She still believed she was the victim. That was fine with me. I wasn't looking for her apology anymore. I had something better, peace. And something else was coming, something I never expected, something that would change my life forever. One quiet morning, I sat on my couch, sipping coffee and scrolling through the comments on my viral video. So many people were still messaging me, offering support, sharing similar stories, and asking questions like, "How did you plan such a beautiful wedding? Can you help me budget for mine? Do you give advice for brides who are struggling with family pressure?" That's when the idea hit me. I opened my laptop, created a fresh YouTube account, and named it The Quiet Planner. I posted my first video that afternoon. How I paid for a full wedding alone, and what I do differently now. To my surprise, the video reached 50,000 views in just a few days. People weren't just interested, they were inspired. They started subscribing. They asked for more videos. So I gave them what they wanted: tips, breakdowns, money-saving hacks, honest advice. I talked about red flags to watch out for when planning with family. I shared healing tips too, how to move on after betrayal. The channel grew fast. Soon, companies that sold wedding supplies and budgeting tools reached out to sponsor my videos. For the first time in years, I had extra income and confidence. My face was no longer the one slapped at a wedding. It was the face of resilience. And guess what? Some of Rachel's old friends even started following me. One of them messaged me and said, "She always thought she was the star.
But you're
the real one." I smiled at that message longer than I should have. It was the quiet kind of victory that felt better than any public revenge. But the biggest surprise was still waiting for me. And it was something no one, especially Rachel, ever expected. A few months passed. My YouTube channel kept growing. I had over 200,000 subscribers, regular income from sponsorships, and a new peaceful life that I built for myself, without anyone's help. Then one day, out of nowhere, I got a call from my cousin Hannah. She sounded nervous. "Emily, I found something. You won't believe this." It turned out she had gone to Rachel's apartment to pick up something she had left there during the wedding. Rachel wasn't home, but their dad had let her in. While looking through the drawers in Rachel's old bedroom, a shiny object caught her eye. It was Rachel's missing wedding ring, stuck behind the dresser, covered in dust. Unbelievable. Hannah took a photo and sent it to me. There it was, the exact ring Rachel slapped me over, accused me of stealing in front of hundreds of people. And it had been in her room the whole time. She had lost it herself. Hannah told me she quietly showed it to Rachel when she came back. Rachel's face turned white. But instead of apologizing, Rachel grabbed the ring, said it must have fallen behind there after the ceremony, and tried to act like nothing happened. No apology, no guilt, no shame, just more pretending. When Hannah asked if she'd tell me the truth, Rachel rolled her eyes and said, "She's already moved on, hasn't she? What's the point now?" I'll be honest, hearing that stung. Not because I still wanted an apology. I didn't. But it showed me once and for all, Rachel never cared. Not even when the truth hit her in the face. But I smiled anyway. Because this time, I had something even better than closure. Freedom. I didn't post about the ring. I didn't blast her online. I didn't even message her. I just whispered to myself, "You lied, you lost, and I won," without ever raising my voice. And that was the ending I never expected but truly deserved. 1 year has passed since the wedding. I live in a small but cozy apartment now, nothing fancy, but it's mine. I wake up every morning without stress, without walking on eggshells, without feeling invisible. My YouTube channel, The Quiet Planner, has become something I never imagined. I now have over 500,000 subscribers. I've helped thousands of people plan smart weddings, avoid toxic drama, and find their voice when no one else believed in them. A few months ago, I got invited to speak at a wedding expo as a guest expert. I stood on that stage in front of hundreds of brides-to-be and said, "You don't need to beg for love, for thanks, or for respect. Build your life so solid that even betrayal can't shake you." They gave me a standing ovation. As for Rachel, word is, she's still struggling. The annulment went through. She moved back in with our parents for a while, then tried launching an influencer page. It didn't go anywhere. People haven't forgotten what she did. Some moved on. Others didn't. But me? I'm finally done thinking about her. I haven't spoken to her since the slap. Not because I'm angry, but because I've grown. She built her world on lies and drama. I rebuilt mine on truth and peace. Looking back now, I don't regret walking away. I don't regret canceling the payments. I don't even regret paying for the wedding. It taught me everything I needed to know about who she really is and who I really am. I'm Emily. I'm 29. I got slapped, accused and humiliated. But I rose, spoke my truth, and found my power. And that's the best revenge of all.